Hi guys, I am glad to welcome you back to Slow Author at Play. I'm Michelle Pennington, and I actually have recorded two other videos in June and didn't get around to posting them because my life kind of got crazy, and I'll talk about that later. But this video is pretty timely, and it's one I've been wanting to do for a long time. So I'm going to skip those for now and do this mid-year planner check-in, or as a lot of people call it, Techo Kaigi, which is a Japanese term for sort of like a meeting to discuss your planner. Um, so you kind of sit down with yourself and you talk about what's been working, what's not working, what do you want to do differently or change. And I think it's really good to do it at the middle of the year, partially because you still have time to go into sort of an academic dated planner if you want to. So pretty soon, probably already, you'll start finding planners that start in July or August to sync up with the school year. And so that's a really good time to change planners if you want to. But also, I think a lot of planner companies start releasing their new products in August, September, around there for the next year. So we'll start seeing 2026 January start planners pretty soon. And I really want to make sure that if I buy any new planners or change what I'm doing, that I've thought it through before you start getting the FOMO purchasing urges. But all in all, I'm actually extremely happy with my system this year. This bullet journal has become the core of my day, and it is everything that I hoped it would be and wanted it to be. But I'm going to go into this in more detail in a minute. I think first I'm going to just talk about the things that are not working. If we're going to talk about what is not working based on what I thought I would be using this year, this Bloom monthly planner is not working for me. It's nothing to do with the planner. It's beautiful. I have filled in a few pages. I've tried a few things, but as you see, I used it in March, but mostly I just filled in some things. April a little bit, nothing since then. And I just don't know exactly if I need to have this anymore. It's something I used to do where I would have just a monthly planner for my writing stuff mostly. And that's pretty much what I've tried to use this for. But it's just not, something I reach for, which is interesting. And so for now, I'm just letting it go. One thing I did add, which I cover, oh, I just rattled my whole desk. One thing I did add in or show in a video that I haven't posted yet, so you'll see it more soon, is I did add in a junk journal where I just have been collecting things from my daily life and sort of sticking them in here. And that's been really fun. It's bulking out a lot and it's already halfway through the year. So I'll probably just wrap up a little bit of journaling and a few other trinkets I haven't stuck in here yet, and probably start a new one for the second half of this year. This is my writing planner, and because I'm a romance writer, I really liked the couple kissing on the cover. And I am not using this to its full potential yet, but I am using it. And I obviously didn't write down my quarterly goals, but I'm going to do that for this year. I've been writing down my word count, and as you see, I have months where I just barely wrote at all. But I've been doing a writing challenge and have been getting more words in, and so I'm hoping to be building up my daily word count. And then I'm also going to keep just adding things to this because I have so much room and I do really like the planner. So this is not going to be like a 2025 planner. This is just going to be ongoing with my writing stuff. And I do have a pen that I keep here, and I put the little band on it to keep my highlighter that I use in this. But I may add this pen strap that I have on my main planner on my bullet journal. So I'll cover that later. This is my long-term bullet journal. And I'm not going to open it up and really show much because there's so much personal information in here. But it's been fun to kind of have, or I guess this is my long-term collections bullet journal. And so this is another thing I don't use very often, but the things that I do have in here are something that I enjoy, and I'm looking forward to continuing to build it. So again, this isn't 2025 exclusively. This is just ongoing stuff. So I have birthdays for my whole family. I have addresses for people. I have just a list of movies and books and things that I am doing. I have lists of things I want to do in the long term. And so I'll just continue to add things to that as time goes on. Okay, so these 3 books right here, this is the core of my process. I have my bullet journal for my daily to-dos, like my task lists, and then I have my drama journal, which is just both planning and record keeping, and then I have this planner, which I'm actually using as my memory keeping journal, and it has worked out really, really well. So this, I think the last time I showed you, I didn't have much in here, but now I do. So every month I have the dramas that are new and the ones that I am watching. So this is basically like a TBR, like a to be read, only it's a like to be watched list. And in February, I did not watch many dramas at all. Let's find, oh, you know what? I watched a lot of dramas in June. So I'll show you June's pages. So I just basically go in and write the number of the episode that I watched, have it color coordinated, and then I print off the movie posters or drama posters for the dramas. And as I watch them, I can record quotes that I like or notes about storytelling that I use for my writing, or just something to help me remember what it was about, what I liked about it. I've already set up my pages for July, but I haven't gone in and populated this main page yet. Basically what I have to do, and it seems like it's a lot of work. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do this. But it's important for me. So at the end of every month, I'll go through the new dramas that have come out, and I'll either put an arrow for yes, I want to carry this forward, or an X if no, I'm not interested in watching this. There's a check mark if I've already watched it. So I don't often watch dramas as they come out because I hate waiting for new episodes, but sometimes there's just one that I really, really am excited about and I can't resist. And then I will go over to this page and I will review everything on my TBR. And I give myself the same number of spaces every month. And the process of going back over my list makes me question, if I haven't watched it, do I really want to? Because I need to take care of my personal life, my family, and my writing. And so I don't want to take too much time away from those other things for my personal hobby. So I do have a limited amount of time, and I want to make sure that I am watching the dramas that make the most, like, make me the most excited about them, and not just be watching things that aren't that great. The only exception to that is when I watch dramas that are just sort of like keeping me company while I'm working. And so this process every month, I review and I'm like, no or yes on each of the dramas. So see down here, these three at the bottom got the X because I decided I didn't want to watch them after all, or like I found out that they had a sad ending or ended up having bad reviews. So then I'll take them off my list, and that will make more room for new, shiny, exciting dramas to go on it. So for this month, ending, June and going into July, I have to go through and review these and decide which ones I'm going to move over to July. And that is all based pretty much on the bullet journal process. So I don't know how many of you are interested in learning about bullet journaling. I may do a video at some point, but part of the process is that you review your task list. And if you are repeatedly not doing something, then it's a sign that you need to examine the reason you're putting that on the task. Do you really want to do it? Do you really need to do it? If you do have to do it, you may need to do sort of an intervention for yourself in doing it. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of my way for a second so we can just focus on my prized beauty here. You could do a bullet journal in any notebook. You can do it and just, a regular school notebook you buy at Walmart or anything. But I'm really glad that I actually went with the bullet journal brand, this notebook this year, and I'll talk to you why in a couple of minutes. But one thing that I've really liked is adding this strap to my notebook that allows me to hold a pen and the color of marker I've chosen. This is an Energel Clena. I've refilled the ink on this, and it looks like my case is like cracking a little bit. So I may actually have to end up getting a new one, even though I've got lots of refills left for it. We'll see how it holds up. I really like this size because it's a very fine point. A lot of times I do like a really bold point on my pen, but for this particular journal, I like to keep things really clean and uncluttered because it helps me to not feel overwhelmed when I'm looking at the page. So that's why I really like this particular pen. Every month I choose a color scheme. I usually carry that scheme pretty fully across my drama planner, the bullet journal, and my memory keeper. So for July, I've chosen to use a lot of red and blue, patriotically themed colors, but also ones that I can do a lot of summary things with. So another thing that I have done is I also tuck an 8-inch ruler in under this strap. So every morning I have it all handy, everything I need to get into my journal and write my to-do list for the day. So I'm going to start, let's see here. I put some tabs in here for things I wanted to show you. The reason that I love this bullet journal so much is that it allows me to be flexible with how much space I'm using every day for what my tasks look like. It also allows me to put my thoughts down for things that I need to remember later or things I need to do later. It allows me to carry things forward. I can cancel things, and then I can add my own little symbols in. So like a star, this is a priority task, which is funny because I didn't get that done that day, even though it was a priority. So then I had to move it to the next day, which is pretty much how things get done. And then I can cancel things by just crossing them out. But like this SQ is a symbol I created, and it stands for side quest. So sometimes my ADHD brain decides I'm going to work on something that's not on my task list or especially important. In fact, it's usually not important at all. But then that kind of can take over my day. And I just kind of like to record that because it's good for me to understand how my brain works, but also to let me know that's probably why I didn't get some other things done. There are times when I have big chunks of time where I don't need a task list every day. So, like, I was on a cruise with my writing group, and I didn't need a task list every day. So, I just put this in this little box to show that that time passed. And I don't use many stickers in here at all, but if there's just like a big space that is not enough to actually start a new day, but it's too big, I don't want to leave it blank, then yeah, I'll pop a sticker in there. I track the weather every day. I got stamps for the little weather symbols, but I decided I don't like having to keep the stamps and ink with me every single day, so that this can be more portable. So I've started just writing in the weather symbols myself. I'm getting better at it as time goes on. Part of the bullet journal method is having a timeline where you can get a bird's eye view of what your month looks like. And I will do this every single month. And then I have a list of tasks that I want to prioritize getting done for that month. And I'll put, did I get it done? If not, then I will put a carry forward to the next month. And if I get it done, then I put an X in for it being accomplished. If I just partially start it, there will just be like half of an X or a slash. This finished the garage project, which is where we cleaned out our garage, and then we put insulation and a mini split for heating and air, and then a couch and television and place to fold laundry. So we have been working on this project, but it kind of got side railed because we put in carpet after I cleaned it out, and things got moved in there from my kids' bedrooms, and a lot of that had to be sorted through, and that delayed the whole process. And so there's like the whole back of my garage is full of things that are my kids that they don't want to get rid of, and we have to sort through it. So this finished garage project is ongoing to this day, and I'm determined it is going to get done this month. But this is basically how I get started for thinking about what I got to get done this month. And I started partway through, I think it was in February, the first month I did it, but I went back to January, and I put a piece of washi tape down the side just to differentiate that this is the start of a new month. And it's gotten to where it makes my journal quite colorful from the side. As you can see, about halfway through the year, I'm about halfway through the book. I've counted, and if I average the same number of pages, I will be able to fit the whole year in here, which, yay. That makes me super happy, because if like December didn't fit, that would just make my brain break, I think. So, let's see here. What else have we got? So, at the end of the month, I will do a reflection, and this allows me to think about what I accomplished and what I liked, what I enjoyed, what I want to do better, what was important to me, sort of maybe a theme for the month. It's been interesting that the different months do kind of have a theme. One thing that was clear was, since December, I've been having a lot of pain and cramping from what I knew was probably a kidney stone. And I kept putting it off and putting it off, and it just caused me an increasingly difficult time in getting things accomplished as the year went on. So I finally had my kidney stone removed last week, and I'm really hoping that that means I'm going to be a lot more productive and comfortable going forward this year. But on the reflection pages, I do tend to use a lot more stickers. So this is a sticker I put in because I had space at the end of the day, but I typically don't have very many of them. So I let myself just have a little bit of fun with decorations at the end. Here is an example of my daily task list in May, and as you will see, I've got a different color scheme going on here. And my appointments are this little triangle. So when we get the appointment done, then I fill them in. But if they don't get done, then I will cross them out. Um, Again, just like little notes of what happened through the day with a dash line. Or that can be a thought or something to think about for the future. But one thing I've found is that in my memory keeper, if I get a few days behind in that, then I can come back to this and really get reminded of the things that happened that day that I want to record in the memory keeping journal. Another thing is I learned quickly because I made some mistakes missing things, but I have a digital calendar. It's called a Starlight calendar that I share with my whole family. We have a screen that stays up on the wall in the living room, but everybody's Google calendars and things are linked to it, and we all have an app on our phone so we can add things to it. And so that is where everything is recorded and put in digitally for the whole family to use. So every morning when I am writing my task list, I open up our digital calendar, and that's where I see all my appointments, and I make sure that those typically get listed at the top. That helps me decide how much time I have for other things during the day, and that's when I decide kind of what tasks I'm going to be working on throughout the day. Also, it makes it easier for me to go through the process that is inherent in the bullet journal process, where if I keep moving tasks, then sometimes I just put it down every day, even though I know I can't get to it that day, because it makes me remember that it needs to be done, and it doesn't get lost. However, sometimes I keep these transparent sticky notes in my back pocket, and I will write things on a sticky note that gets moved from day to day as well. I also started partway through the year. This is another part of the bullet journal process that I didn't start doing from the beginning, where every week you sort of have like a weekly review and think about what you still need to do. So I have at the beginning of Sunday, beginning of the week, I list all the things that I need to have to get done that week. And then I can go back and check them off or move them on depending on whether or not I finish them. Then I will have, I thought this page was a good way to show you that I have, some days where I barely put anything, or I just, ironically, because I was super busy this day, I didn't have time to sit and do my task list for the day, in fact, for multiple days. So I jumped quite a bit ahead there. And then I just have a couple more things that I was going to show you from this one. This is my reflection for May, where I went ahead and wrote down a lot of things. And May was very, very, very busy for me. And so I didn't get a lot accomplished. And part of my reflection is to remind myself why it was hard, why I didn't get things done, so I don't get down on myself. And then also to celebrate the things that I did do well at. This is June. So I just wanted to show you that I haven't done June's reflection yet. I think I'm still processing June because I had big plans for June, and in a lot of ways I did get a lot done. But I also had to have surgery. I also had my 45th birthday this week, and because I ended up being in recovery from surgery on my birthday, and then also my dog ate a corn cob, so we had a lot of time at the vet and stress over that and worry about him. And so it just ended up being a bad birthday. But I've set up July. And so even though I chose red because it's patriotic, I am not doing patriotic theme really the whole month, but it'll look good on the 4th. But I am using a lot of strawberry stickers as well because I have some really cute strawberry stickers that I've been wanting to use. So anyways, that is how my bullet journal is functioning. I love it. I'm going to keep going with it. The only thing that I'm wondering is how for next year I might be able to have something that is a little bit more of a personal thing that I do for myself and nobody else, where I can process more of my thoughts and emotions. Because this one is very task oriented. And in my memory keeper, which I'm about to show you, I don't have a lot of space. And it's also something that I want my kids to be able to look at and be able to remember when things happen or, enjoy in the future. And I don't necessarily need all my personal thoughts and emotions and struggles in there. So if I add anything, and I may experiment with it in the back half of this year, is I may try like a more traditional journal where I just allow myself to sit and write about all the feelings and thoughts that I'm having as a form of processing and therapy in a way. And it may even be something that I don't keep so that I don't have to be afraid of anybody knowing um, things that are too personal. So I don't know. I may give an update on that at some point in the year. I also kind of want a sticker friendly daily planner that I can play with more. I don't have my pens in here right now, but as you see, I also have a pen strap on this. And an interesting thing, so I put my own elastic on this one. I took off the white that came on here and put on this black and silver piece of elastic because it matched my bullet journal so much better. I was kind of proud of how crafty I was with that one. Okay, so this is how I'm using this as a memory keeper. So I print off pictures as things happen. I do use stickers. Mostly it's just, it's vague sort of goals and tasks that are not tasks, but things that are happening. And that's kind of what that looks like, how that functions. And then I have the monthly calendar that comes with this. I use it not so much for planning, but for just recording what has happened. It's, something that is a little functional, but it's mostly just um, for recording things with a bird's eye view versus like the daily kind of stuff. Like I said, I do have a palette, like a color palette for every month. This is what the day looks like. It will be a mix of photographs and stickers that have to do with either my theme for the month or like this is purple. But I typically have a decorative sticker here for sure, like a quote or something. But for these, I really enjoy having my Canon Ivy printer because I don't have to wait to get pictures developed. I don't have to size anything. I know that the size is going to fit very easily on my pages. I like to use washi tape as well, just for decorations. I really enjoy having a space to print pictures that I normally wouldn't print because I know it's a memory that I was happy about or proud of that day. So I would probably never print a picture of my patio for like a photo album, but I wanted to record, look, I got it cleaned off and ready to use for the spring. So that's kind of what I do there. And then at the end of the month, I will print and stick on a whole bunch of pictures that didn't necessarily fit. Because if I put too many pictures on these pages, then I don't have room to record what actually happened. And so I've started using this notes page at the back of every month to stick on pages that I didn't have a lot of room for otherwise. And so that's just kind of like how the days look. And like I just don't have a whole lot of space day to day, as you can see. And that was part of my plan from the beginning, because I didn't want to feel like I had to write a novel every time I was recording my memories for the day. That can be really intimidating, especially if you get far behind. So sometimes there'll be a week where I just couldn't get to this very much, and I'd have to go in and fill in a whole week's worth of memories. And if I felt like I had to do like a whole page for every day, that would be too much, and I would give up. And my biggest goal for 2025 was to make this as accessible as possible with as few hurdles as possible, keeping in mind my ADHD tendencies and struggles. So I do like the fact that I only have this much space. And sometimes I don't have very much that I want to record. And so I do put in the stickers. But there are times, like I said, where I do wish that I had more space for a day that just had a lot of memories. I especially miss having room to put stories, things that happened, things that my kids said, so I basically am putting like almost bullet points of things that happen instead of really filling in the stories. And as a writer, that feels too restrictive to me. So I like the format of having the pre-printed planner to use as my journal space, and I'm going to continue it through the rest of the year. But I am thinking next year that I may try it in a dotted notebook where I can use it like with my bullet journal, where every day, the space I have for every day can be flexible according to what I want to put in there. I think the only drawback that I can see to that is that when I open up my planner, that this planner that's designed to be a planner, if I open up a day and or a week and it visually says, hey, you've got a whole week to catch up on, and it even makes it a little bit accessible. So I want to see if I can, I don't know, decide which is more important to me, to have the pre-printed structure and the limited space, or is it more important for me to have more flexibility? So that's kind of the only big decision that I am trying to process between now and when I start deciding what I'm going to be doing in 2026 as far as what planners I would purchase. Now, this one, I have enough room to do another year in, and so I don't need to worry about that decision. I love the A5 size in the bullet journal. Oh, I was going to mention this also. The reason that I really like the bullet journal, I've decided, um, is that it has markings in it for the middle of the page. And since I do this dividing line on the page, because that format has been working really well with my brain, instead of having like notes going all the way across here, for some reason my brain freaks out about that. I figured that out last year. So I like to divide my page into columns, and the bullet journal has the middle of the page marked off for me already. Some people don't like that the bullet journal has the page number in the middle of the page instead of on the edge, but I don't tend to use page numbers that often anyway. I don't mind having them there. They're not obtrusive to me in any way. So that's not a make or break issue for me. And then I'm glad I mentioned this because I was thinking about it. Something that I have discovered that I love is these little clip-on tabs. So they're just little metal tabs that slide on and off. And I've decided, like the ribbon bookmarks. I saw a video where somebody was showing how to cut them out. And I thought, well, that's sad because they're pretty and I like them. And the bullet journal that I have here has 3 different colored ribbons, but I don't use them and they get in my way. and I don't find them very functional. I do like this because I can put a tab at the beginning of the month for my timeline and my task list, and then this tab right here for wherever I'm at. So this is my current day, and then I can just move it so that wherever I'm at in the journal, I have a tab. I know exactly that that tab is going to flip me open to my current day, and I don't end up with a bunch of tabs over here that are getting bent or in the way or make it hard to shuffle through and find where I'm going. This isn't a planner that I'm flipping back to habit trackers or other things very often. Mostly I just need my monthly stuff and then my daily. And so having these metal tabs is really wonderful. I also use them in this drama planner, as you see here. And so this one I have 3 in, and they're movable, and they can see this one right here takes me to my review pages where I give a star rating to my dramas that I watch. So I got these, I think, on JetPens, but I can't say enough about how much I love those. So where are you with your planning system? Do you like it? Are there things that you want to change? Are you really happy with it? I see so many videos where it goes both directions, and I think typically this is a good time of the year to just say, hey, I'm going to reapply myself or try something new, or maybe I'm bored and I want to try this. It's a great time for that. But also, don't beat yourself up if things aren't going the way you expected them to. And know that it's really common and part of the process that we're all going through. So I hope you'll come back and watch some of the upcoming videos that I have that I recorded in June. I think they're kind of fun. And also, I would love to hear in the comments if there's anything you want to hear from me in the future. And see, I want to talk more about different bullet journal processes and what they mean and how to do them, because so many of my people that I hear from on this very small channel, admittedly, is that a lot of this is new for them because they're not part of the journaling community yet and they're interested in it. So I'll probably do some more of that in the future, but mostly I just like to get on here and talk to myself because it helps me to think through things and give me a chance to communicate with it. So thanks for joining me with that process, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, will you please like and subscribe, and um, again, let me know what you want to hear from me in the future. So hope you have a great rest of 2025.